Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. I have been solving GMAT problem out of this book here, the GMAT review, the official guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You should be able to find it at mba.com. The problem that I'm about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 183, problem solving, number 228. Let's take a look at it. We are told that if a two-digit positive integer has its digits reversed, the resulting integer differs from the original one by 27. Now what does that mean? Well, first of all, what's an integer? Integer is just a fancy way of saying a number. Say for example, if I have a number here, let's say a 91, what they're telling me is that if I reverse the digit, it becomes 19, and they're telling me in that case, the difference between my original number and the number that I obtained by reversing the digits, I'm calling it number, they're calling it integer. As I said, integer is just a fancy way of saying a whole number. 2.5 is not an integer, but 2 is an integer, 3, 4, 5, any whole number is an integer, negatives are integer, and so is 0. They are integers, a whole number. So here, I have an integer which happens to have two digits, 91 for example. When I reverse the digits, I get 19, and they're telling me that the difference between my original integer and this integer is 27. I'm going to tell you exactly what I did when I solved this problem, and then I'm going to show you the classical way, the proper way, the orthodox way, the traditional way, the algebraic way, if you insist on it. But I'm just going to tell you what I did when I solved the problem. Because they're telling me that the difference between the original number and the number that I obtained when I reverse the digits is only 27, that told me, what is the question asking here? Let me read the question one more time. The question simply is, by how much do the two digits differ? By how much do the two digits differ? For example, here you see, the two digits differ by 8. And that tells me that the difference between the two digits cannot be very high, because when you reverse the digit and you subtract one from the other, the difference is only 27. Here the difference is not going to be 27. This is wrong. The difference is going to be 90 minus 20 is going to be almost 70. Let's find out. 11 minus 9 is 2. 11 minus 9 is 2, and then 8 minus, you see 72. But in our case, the difference is only 27. That tells me, that I had a gut feeling from that. That told me, my intuition was that the difference between the two digits has to be very small. So I started with A. I usually don't, when the answers are numerical, I usually like to start with a happy compromise. But here I started with A because my gut feeling told me that the difference cannot be very large. So the difference between the two unit digit and a 10 digit, I assume that it was 3 because that's answer choice A. For example, you may have 14 or 25 or 36 or 47 or 58 or 69 or that's it, because the next one is going to be 10. Obviously that's not a digit. That's all it is. Of course, when I was doing it, I did not try out all the scenarios. I just did one or two, and then I found out what I needed to find out. So for example here, if you reverse the digits, it becomes 41. And what's the difference? 11 minus 4 is 7, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. There you go, 27, which is what they're telling me. That tells me that the difference between the two digits is only 3. That's it. And when I found that, I tried one more time just to give myself a peace of mind that I was on the right track. So I took one more. I took 52 and 25. And 52 minus 25 is in fact 27. As a matter of fact, any one of these, the difference between the integer that you obtain when you reverse the digit and your original integer is going to be 27. For example, 63 is 27, 74 minus 47, 14 minus 7 is 7, and then 6 minus, you see, they're all 27. 85 is going to be 27, 96 is going to be 27, and so on and so forth. So the difference is 3. The answer is A. Now if you insist, I'm going to show you the classical way. But the problem with the classical way, the algebraic way, is that it's great if you can solve it the algebraic way, but most people will not be able to set up an equation that is required here to solve it in the algebraic way. In which case, just logical thinking and trial and error is the only hope. Because if you don't know how to set it up algebraically, then obviously we got a problem. Let me look at the clock in the back, see how much time I have actually. I am 5 minutes into the clip, so I'm going to show you here because I need to explain here. For example, if it's 41, the question is, how do you set it up in the algebraic form? For example, if it's 41, in which case my A, let's say, is 4 and B is 1, when I reverse it, it becomes BA. And if you're going to sit there and write it like this, AB minus BA equals 27, that's nonsense. That what I just wrote here has no meaning, absolutely no meaning whatsoever. You can't set it up like that. Besides, how would you ever solve it? It doesn't make any sense. It's a pure, unadulterated drivel. This is not the right equation. How do you write 41 in the algebraic way? For example, if the number is 41, A and B, how do you write it? This 4 is actually not a 4, it's a 40. So how do you write it? It's 10 times A plus B. Because you see, if your A is 4, then what you get is 10 times 4, which is 40, plus B, which is 1, and it gives you 41 that you need here. Similarly, 14 is going to be 10 times B, because now you have a BA. Your B is 1, so 10 times B plus A. 10 times B, which is 1, times 1 gives me 10, plus A, which is 4, gives me the 14 that I'm looking for. And there you go. That's what you need here. And the difference between these two guys, difference between this guy and this guy, we are told, is 27. This is the most difficult part. Setting up the equation. Setting up the equation, it could be the most difficult part if you don't know how to. And of course, if you're conversant in algebra, if you're skilled in algebra, then of course it's not a big deal. But anyway, if this setting it up, getting to this equation is giving you trouble, then just do it the way I did it here. Just think logically. If the difference is only 27 when you reverse the digits, then the difference between the digits cannot be very large. They have to be very close to each other. So I started with 3 and I started 41 or 52. You'll see the difference is always 27. The difference between the two digits is 3. I'm going to show you here in a second. So let's erase this part. We don't need this thing. This was nonsense. Let's solve it. So I get 10A plus B, that's this part here, minus, well, I'm going to actually open the parentheses. I'm going to actually open the parentheses. I'm going to open this parenthesis too, we don't need it. So this gives me 10A right here, plus a B, minus 10B, and then minus A, because this minus sign gets distributed, minus A equals 27. So now I have 10A minus A, that gives me 9A, and then negative 10B and a B, well, let me put it in a different format so you can distinguish the two. The B and the negative 10B gives me negative 9B, and that has to equal 27. Why 27? Because that's what the problem tells me. The problem tells me when I reverse the digits, the difference between the original integer and the new integer is 27. So 9A minus 9B equals 27. If you divide the whole equation by 9, you will find that A minus B equals 3, and that's your answer choice A. That's it. I don't want to write the A here because I don't want to confuse anybody between this A and the answer choice A, but the answer is A. And that's all it was. I hope you found this helpful. If you wish to hire me for personal private tutoring, face-to-face tutoring, I'm located in Connecticut, but of course I will come to you wherever you are, as long as we can come to an agreement. Or if you wish to buy the solution manuals to the problem in this book, or if you wish to buy my DVDs which show you the solutions to the problem. In any of these cases, if you wish to communicate with me, if you wish to talk to me, go to my website at www.prep4gmat.com and send me an email. Alright? Thank you.